my backstory is about 2 years ago. I hadn't done much,
Mhm.
but I needed to, and I have a brother who's got a good base for a runner, and
Mhm.
I told him, I said, "I think I'm gonna do something really hard. I think I'm gonna run a half marathon."
Yeah.
He's like, "Marty, that's not big enough. Like, if you're gonna do a half, do a full." So that's what I did. I signed up for Route 66 actually,
Nice, nice. Yeah.
and, it destroyed me.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was good, and one of my goals this year is to run 4 marathons,
Oh,
and,
awesome. Yeah.
so I've done 3,
Mhm.
but I'm honestly, John, I'm bored with it.
Yeah.
So I'm planning on doing the 100K at,
Oh,
Lake, Thunderbird in
okay. Yeah,
November.
yeah, yeah. Yep, I was looking at, Isaac Barnowski
Isaac's
shared that
doing that.
earlier. Yep, and I
Yep.
saw that. Oh, that's cool. I won't be able to do that one, because of the date. I think it's November
Because of
9th,
the
I believe.
Yeah.
But,
But you're doing Pumpkin Holler again, right?
I will be doing Pumpkin Holler in October, yes. Yep. Mhm. Yep,
Yep.
yep, yep. But that Thunderbird one looks awesome. That'd be a fun one, yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of my backstory, but it was,
Yeah.
again, similar to yours. It was the environment of my brother pushing me to do, what was that Japanese term you used?
Masogi.
Masogi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was
Just
challenging me to have a
yeah.
Muskogee or
Yeah,
Muskogee.
there you go. In Oklahoma, it's a Muskogee. That's
Yeah.
right.
Something big.
I love it. I love it.
Um, but yeah, so, and circling back to the point we made earlier, you know, who we are is going to be
Mhm.
shown by our environment, our friends around us, and
Definitely.
unless we deliberately break that mold and get new friends. So,
Yes. And it can happen. I mean, I've the people in my circle around me right now are dramatically different than who was around me. Let's say when
mhm,
I was in the trenches at the grocery store, right? All those friends that I had at that time are like, "Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while," and then we move on. They're not really. I'm not close to them at all anymore,
yeah,
and it's because like when you do something like transform yourself in a way, like you're just naturally going to lose some of those relationships. So you have to be prepared for that. It's going to happen. You're going to have
mhm,
family members that don't agree or approve of you anymore. You're going to have friends, that are not going to agree or approve of you anymore. And I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to remember you are transforming your life for the better and you're doing what you need for you, right? And at the end of the day, that's all that matters is what you need for you and your family and stuff. Yeah.
So I saw on your Facebook one of
Mhm.
your greatest fears, and you wrote
Mhm.
that it's not having a story to tell.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, Talk to me about that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to just be the grocery store guy?
Definitely do not want to just be the grocery store guy. I so when I'm something that we talk about a lot here, one of our little catchphrases is don't talk to me about the weather, talk to me about the universe.
Mm,
And it's just kind of like, man, if I'm sitting around and the only thing I have to talk about is whatever was on TV last night, or not that there's anything wrong with, enjoying yourself and watching whatever, Game of Thrones or watching your show or reading your book
yeah,
or whatever. But if that's all I have to talk about is like other people's stories or actors' lives or whatnot, I want to talk about my life and I want to hear about yours. I want to
mhm,
hear about how hard it was for you to run 50K in the dark. I
yep,
want to hear about those things. Like, what did you have trouble with? My big toes were killing me. What was hurting you? What did you learn from it? Like that's what I like to hear people's stories. Me and I like to have my own, of course. So yeah, it's kind of just another way of saying like I never want to quit. I always want to be doing something. And I mean, if I get in a car wreck and lose my leg tomorrow, I
yep,
promise you that I will be motivated to transform my life into, maybe I won't be running anymore. Maybe I will, because there are people that do it. But I, I will not quit. I will keep going. I will turn that into something different from my life. And I just never want to be that person that, like, the book's never closed. Keep the
yep.
book open, keep writing. You got the pencil, just keep writing your story, man.
Be
That's
intentional.
that's all that means. Yes, be intentional. There you go.
So, John, tell me about Dark and Dirty then. Let's hear your story on that.
So dark and dirty, man. So that's 50K, about 33 miles, had 4,500 feet of elevation.
Mm,
And it's so funny what happens to you when you start running ultra marathons on the semi regular, that was my fifth one, because I look at it and I go, oh, it's only 50K. And it's like
Only.
only 50K, which is insane. Again, making crazy things seem normal. But that race in particular, I had a goal. So Pumpkin Holler, 100 miler coming up this year. It's going to be my second 100 miler. And I barely survived that race last year. I mean, there was I can't remember, there's a 30-hour cutoff. I got there at 29 hours and change, right?
Wow.
I barely made it. And arguably one of the fittest people, I bet, that was out there, me. Super fit, can throw barbells in the air and all this stuff. Couldn't stand with even half of the people, the veterans of the ultra marathon. I love them to death for setting that example for me, because it obviously showed me that my training was not good enough. And you honestly, at the end of the day, you can train as much as you want for these ultra marathons, but you got to get out there and actually just do them, because you don't know what sleep deprivation and all that stuff does to you.
You got to grind.
So I talk about Pumpkin Holler because I wanted Dark and Dirty to be essentially a training run for Pumpkin Holler for me, because it has similar terrain. Like it's that gravel road. It has a crazy hill, which Pumpkin Holler is notorious for, this one particular crazy hill. And it's dark, so that kind of simulates like the night portion of the 100-mile run. I was telling my friends, I was like, man, it's got the same road, got the same hill. It's dark, got the same copperhead snakes everywhere all night long too. So it's perfect training. And I actually so usually leading up to an ultra marathon, I chill out on my gym work. I do some shorter runs and all that stuff. But I crushed myself for 2 weeks leading up to Dark and Dirty, because I wanted to go into it with sore legs, sore back. I woke up that morning and did a workout. The morning of, I did a workout. And because I wanted to try to make myself so tired that it actually felt like the night loop of 100 miles. Yeah. And it did. And it very much did. And I was hurting, man. We were out there in the dark. Headlamps, that's another thing you got to train for. You got to get out there because it's, you have such a small field of vision when you have the headlamps. But man, you put yourself out there in that environment with I had a team, there were 5 of us total out there. I got to see some of my favorite ultramarathon people out there that I've met over the last year or so. And it's very inspiring to see all the different people. Got to meet new people, of course. So man, it was a great experience. It took us 10 hours to complete Dark and Dirty, 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. And man, there was a lot of grumbling. There was a few times where some of my teammates refused to speak anymore. They're like, speaking is out of the question at this point. But no one ever quit, right? Every time it was time to leave that campsite, packs on, out the gate. Here we go. So I was so proud of all of them. And that right there, I at one point, my back was hurting me so bad, I had to lay on a picnic table to get some rest. I would actually run faster than everyone else because I wanted to get back to base camp so I could rest longer.
You wanted a longer break.
And so I'm running to the picnic table to lay down. And when I look up from the picnic table to see my teammates getting ready to go back out, I'm like, oh no, I don't know that I can do this. But I'm like, some of these people look at me as a leader. I cannot be laying here on this picnic table if they depend on me at all. I cannot be the one that makes them think, oh, we're hurting. I was like, no, we're not hurting. We're going, the old, don't give pain a voice. We don't speak it. We don't say it out loud. So we do a run club here. Today's Tuesday. We're going to do one tonight. One of the rules of this run club is if we ask you how you're doing, the only answer is awesome, man. High five. That's the only answer you can give. We don't give pain a voice. We don't say my hamstring's killing me. My feet are killing me. We say we're doing awesome, and we just keep going no matter how we feel. So it was an experience.
You've got to read Jocko's book, Discipline Equals Freedom, because his line in there is good,
Yeah.
And it's
it's
good because there's opportunity elsewhere. So
yes. Yep, absolutely.
What are your long-term goals, Jon? Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Right now, so I want to eventually be a race director myself. I'd like to create another race here in Tahlequah for us. We have an amazing trail race out here with Pumpkin Holler, so there's no reason for me to try to get in on that. I love Kathy and Mitch and them to put that on. They are awesome. But you know what? Tahlequah does some 5Ks throughout the year, but hey, why not a marathon in Tahlequah? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Why not? But so look, we're the capital of the Cherokee Nation. I'm not Cherokee. I am just a white boy. And I'm telling you right now, we're the capital of the Cherokee Nation. I feel like we should be the example for the standard of like health and wellness for the Cherokee Nation. And so that's my goal, man. My goal upon taking this particular role is to never like throw shade at other gyms in town. There are however many thousands of people that live in this town, and there are like 5 gyms here. Every one of them should be bloated and packed to the gills with members, but we're not. We're not. So my goal is to collaborate with like Okie Flow, CrossFit, and Marcoma of Cherokee, and then Peak Performance that's here in town. Collaborate with them and create something special. Maybe we all collaborate to create this race, or maybe it's some kind of obstacle or swim event. We have a pool here. Like, I want to do stuff like that, but I just want to be known as the guy that's opening doors for people to get healthy. And that's why I created the Run Club for free, absolutely for free.
Yep.
Will always be for free. You show up and run with us every Tuesday. Like, I can make these things free as much as possible, but you actually have to show up and do the work. And so I will continue to just do that and just be an example for my team and my friends and family and stuff that there's a healthier life out there.
How far do you guys run on Tuesdays, John?
So we try to keep it within an hour, and so basically the first week we ran 3K, and then every week I increased it a K. So 3K, 4K, 5K. We went up to 8K, and now we're pyramiding back down 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Today we're going to run 6K, and that distance kind of just keeps it where we can almost keep it in the hour and a half at most.
Kind of fun. Yeah.
It allows me I create a course here around campus that's usually like a counterclockwise loop followed by a clockwise loop, because I want the faster runners to get to come back by the slower runners and high five them and see them and encourage them. Like, I want them to see each other. We do a lot of out and backs because again, I want people to pass each other. I want them to see, like, I have been out there on those runs and I've had complete strangers look at me and go, "Dang, man, you're looking strong. Keep it up." And they're probably lying their guts out, but it makes me feel really good. And so I'm like, tell people how good they're doing. And the fact that they're out here is amazing in the first place. So, like, yeah, that's kind of what we do every Tuesday. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. 3 weeks ago, I ran that marathon with my brother, and he didn't have to train. He's way more natural at it than me.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more work.
Yeah.
And I really hit that wall at mile 23.
Oh man.
And he was going strong, but people were saying that, "You're looking good. You're looking so strong." And I thought to myself, it's because I look so bad. They're saying that. But when we got done, he said, "Man, did you hear everybody complimenting me?" And I was like, that was encouragement for me. But he's like, "No, that was to me."
That's right.
So who knows? But anyway, that encouragement is powerful.
Absolutely.
John, what would you say would be 3 habits that you want to incorporate in your life to be the man, to be all the man that you need to be?
Right. So the first is just, you could circle back to this theme. Your podcast nails it. Be very intentional. Mm-hmm. Like, the things that I say and the plans that I have, like, I'm a very easy person, I think, to get along with. But when I say things, I typically mean that we're going to get them done. Like, we're going to accomplish these tasks. So being very intentional, not just being the person that throws ideas out, but the person that actually executes. I make my team choose a word every year. What's the word that's going to define your year? Now, 3 months in, they might change. That's okay. But I want a word right there at the last week of December. I want to know that word. And my word this year was execute. Like, I was like, I got all these plans for the gym, for the run club, for the logos for our run club and all this stuff, and for who we work with the Chamber of Commerce and accomplishing things here in Tahlequah. And I'm like, ideas are just on paper. Execute. Let's go. So executing is a major one with me. The intentionality of it all. Man, the other one is just listening to other people. Like, I talk a lot. I like to talk. I really do. And I have started to learn that I need to listen more, and I also need to know when to like sit in the mud with people. Like, sometimes
Okay.
I'm so big on offering my sage advice that I'm like, man, they don't need me to give them advice right now. They just need me to hear them out. So my team, because I trust them fully, when they have problems, I just want to hear them. I want to hear
Mm,
them. I want to let them get it out. So trying to be my wife as well, like trying to not overpower her with advice and just listen to her is very important to me. And I mean, that's it, man. Just knowing that it's never enough, right? You can never have, like, confidence comes from constantly
sure.
accomplishing things. So just continuing to do things constantly.
That's good. How about favorite book? What's a influential book in your life?
Right off the top of my head, my favorite book, especially from the last few years, is a book called Illogical by Emmanuel Ocho. So I
Say it
love that.
again. You said
It,
illogical?
illogical.
Oh,
And
illogical.
the author is Emmanuel Ocho.
Okay.
And I think his last name is spelled Acho, I believe. Um, I listened to it on Spotify and loved it, and immediately bought a hard copy of it and read
Mhm.
it. And it is a great book. It might be, I think it's at home. I have a bunch of books in my windowsill here, but it is, I love that book. He talks about, in a lot of ways, if the standard of the way that Americans especially are living is to be heart disease and overweight and not accomplishing their goals, then what we need to do is be illogical and do the opposite of what most normal people are doing. So you have to be abnormal. And that book is really great. And also, if you want to listen to the audiobook, anyone listen to the audiobook because he narrates it and he's got a great voice.
Okay.
He's awesome. So he is a great one to listen to. But that is the first book that comes to mind for sure.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I love listening to stuff on Audible. That's what I do when I run. That's one
Oh
reason
yeah.
I love to run is because
Mm-hmm.
people leave you alone and you can learn.
You can learn, man. You can learn. Absolutely.
How about final message, John? You got one message to share to the world. I have an idea of what it is, but what
Oh,
would be
well,
what would
we'll
be
see if we match it. I
John Bloodworth's message to the world?
I feel like I have so many favorite quotes, but the one that gets attributed to me the most. Now you tell me what you're thinking of here in a little bit, but the one that gets repeated ad nauseum in this place and on our runs is talk is cheap. That is the
Mm,
one. Those are the three words that I feel like I say more than anything in the world, which is, and it's just, you can say anything. I can say, this is it. This is my year. This is my year. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to save $20,000. I'm going to do my first half marathon. I'm going to do 4 marathons this year. You can say that all day long. As a matter of fact, you can go pay for them and sign up and hit PayPal. That's, talk is cheap. Actions are very expensive. So the process of, I just recently shared that link to this, there's a group here in town putting on a free 5K. And I was like, look, not many people are going to sign up for it, even though it's free, because
mhm.
it's not really free, because you then have to commit to training, commit to showing up day of. So talk is cheap is the one that gets attributed to me a lot. And if I can just say anything to anyone, man, it's that remember, your words are not your actions. You have to
Mm,
actually go out there and do these things. Otherwise, and here, every time somebody listens to me talk, and I'm very grateful for this. It is not lost upon me. People listen to me talk. I do motivational speeches. I get hired out here on campus to give speeches and stuff to the basketball teams and all this. And people are like, every time I listen to you talk, I want to run through a brick wall. It makes me feel so good, man. And I'm like, awesome. If you don't take any action after that speech, you wasted your time listening to me.
yeah.
That is not lost on me. My words are not magic. You have to be the one that actually puts the boots to the pavement. But talk is cheap. That's the one that I say I feel like the most. What were you thinking of?
Just intentionality. Just
Yeah, yeah,
which is similar.
yeah, definitely,
But
definitely.
I just
Yeah.
see that on Facebook with your stuff all the
Mhm.
time. Just be
Oh,
intentional. You know,
absolutely, man. I
you
be
don't have a bad
intentional.
back. You got to go
Yeah.
exercise.
That's exactly right, man. You don't have a bad back. Your family history is not. You don't have a history of bad backs. You don't have a history of bad knees. You got a history of bad habits,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got to break those habits, man. Break those molds. I was like, man, how am I going to be? Everybody in my family has diabetes. I don't want to get diabetes. Oh, wait a minute. Type 2 diabetes is not hereditary. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's because of what they're eating and they're not exercising. I'm going to eat right and exercise. I have broken the cycle. Like here
Yeah.
I am. So like it's intentionality, and it's just doing the thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on here, Jon. It's a pleasure. And
Oh, for sure.
how
Thank
do
you.
people find you? Just
So you can follow me on Facebook if you want to. It's Jon Bloodworth, Jon Bloodworth, just like it sounds. My profile is completely public, completely open. You can follow me on Instagram. I think I'm at Coach Jon Bloodworth. Completely public, completely open. Go find me, add me as a friend. Totally cool, or just follow, whatever you want to do. Say hello. Just say hello. You might not want to follow me. I've got close friends that say they have unfollowed me on Facebook because they can't stand my constant. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's okay. But yeah, I'm out there.
we hear a lot of Jon Bloodworth quotes at our house, so
Hey,
we appreciate it.
Thank you, and tell her that I said thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.